Elon Musk appeared on Saturday Night Live, and it was the first time I watched Saturday Night Live in like a decade or something. And I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. Why? He's a smart dude who does fun stuff. I once tweeted at Elon as a joke, why haven't you built an Iron Man suit yet? And Elon responded, working on Starship. And that's awesome. That's exactly it. Elon is far from a perfect guy. He's done questionable business things many times. He's tweeted pretty dumb stuff. But who amongst us has not also been a human being doing dumb things and making mistakes? Elon has good fun with it. He should be criticized heavily for the things he's done wrong. But he's a guy. He builds spaceships. I'm glad that someone is trying to inspire people to do cool stuff. I'm glad that he's working on electric cars and he's making cool stuff. We need people who do inspirational things to make us strive to be better. Looking towards Mars and the stars, I'm grateful that we have an industrialist who's actually doing this. Well, Elon Musk decided to appear on Saturday Night Live, and of course, the woke outrage was palpable. People were saying that, he's a bigot and he was a Trump supporter and blah, blah, blah. There were these articles about how SNL cast members were going to be allowed to not participate in sketches, as if they really all cared that much. Well, the ratings are in, baby. And the ratings are huge. Obviously, if someone like myself or you were willing to watch SNL, we knew the ratings were going to be good. And I got to tell you this, what an awful show. SNL may be one of the worst things I have ever seen. Elon was cool, though. Elon isn't a comedian. I did not expect him to be the funniest guy ever, but I was entertained by seeing Elon Musk have a good time and say silly things. That was about it. That's all I really want. Now, SNL tries to play in the political arena sometimes. Like they did a joke about a white nationalist blog. Haha, it was Donald Trump the whole time. I'm like, that's just so dumb. They called Joe Biden a wax figure, and I'm like, I guess as long as they're making fun of both, I guess. But it wasn't a good joke. Neither were. The show was awful. But nonetheless, we can see the ratings are doing really well. And we have a lot of opinions. Surprise, surprise, Dave Chappelle is cool, funny, and reasonable, and said no one is woke enough. No one is woke enough. There's always going to be a complaint. And we actually have this, ladies and gentlemen, from CNN. Elon Musk's big mistake. He didn't apologize for his bigoted comments. Okay. I have some reviews from the woke left I'd love to show you because it's going to be fun to make fun of how crazy everyone is. SNL recap from The Gothamist. Elon Musk was the most cringy host of SNL in years. Actually, no, he wasn't. I know he's not a comedian. I had fun watching him do stupid things. It was hilarious. You know what's cringy? SNL is cringy. The whole show is cringe. I don't know how people watch this. But I guess we're the deviants who don't understand the mainstream, normie, uninitiated, traditional libs or whatever that believe the stupidest, crazy conspiracies about Trump and Russia. And they love watching this nonsense. Apparently, The Big Bang Theory gets tons of ratings. Not for me. What do we do about it? I don't know. But I'm willing to watch Elon Musk on SNL or whatever, I guess. Check this out. I'll show you the ratings real quick because I really want to read you the criticisms because it's listen, the ratings are through the roof. Take your criticisms and go flush them down a toilet. They say a contingent of Elon Musk's legions of fans tuned in to watch the hugely popular and controversial billionaire tech inventor and entrepreneur make his debut as a host of SNL. Last night's telecast, hosted by Musk, with Miley Cyrus, drew a 4.7 household live and same-day rating in the 44 metered local markets and a 2.7 in the key demo, 18 to 49. That was up sharply from the most recent SNL from April 10th with Carey Mulligan and musical guest Kid Cudi, which got a 3.6 in overnight households. So this is like a 30-some-odd% increase in viewership. It's exactly why SNL did it. And I'll tell you this. I don't spend all that much time thinking about Elon Musk or Donald Trump, for that matter. I'm focused on bigger things, I guess, the Democratic Party and the Republican parties as a whole, the current state of the economy, the inflation, I don't know, a massive cyber attack on U.S. critical infrastructure. But there are people who work in media who have no choice. This is their desperate play. Now, first, I want to show you this op-ed from CNN. I want to read this op-ed from CNN a little bit, and then I want to show you what Dave Chappelle had to say, because it should be a surprise to know that Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan are actually reasonable individuals with opinions worth listening to. It's funny, right? They're comedians. We're told not to listen to them, and then they have the reasonable, normal approach to these things. Here's what CNN published in their op-ed section. They say, SNL and billionaire Elon Musk appear to have gotten what they wanted from each other with Musk's appearance. But the price of this bargain was that SNL helped Musk whitewash his horribly irresponsible comments downplaying the risks of COVID-19 and his insensitive remarks about the transgender community. For SNL, like all long-running TV shows, it's all about ratings and relevancy. By Sunday afternoon, there were more than 3 million views of Musk's monologue on YouTube, and early ratings showed a big win on the audience front. For Musk, the apparent goal was to make himself likable. To those who know him only as a Tesla guy, I got to stop here. I don't think Elon Musk is all that complicated. I think he's just a guy who's doing things. He's smart enough to make tons of money, and then use that money to do things I think are cool. Not all of the things he has done are cool. I think he was heavily involved in PayPal and other big corporations. It's big fintech stuff I don't care about. Building a Starship, that's awesome. Sending it up to a high altitude test and landing it just this past week, amazing. People on the left don't seem to realize that our lives have been dramatically improved by the space race. A lot of technologies were developed for space technology, to go to the moon, to build satellites, and then it trickles down to everybody else. You can argue about trickle-down economics, but we can certainly talk about trickle-down scientific developments. I mean, that stuff actually happens. So good for Elon. They're going to say, if you watch his monologue in a vacuum, Musk did come across likable and funny. He also candidly acknowledged he had Asperger's, an autism spectrum disorder. They say Musk even brought his mother on stage. The most astounding part is that during the show's monologue, Musk actually had the perfect moment to show he had the strength required to apologize. Musk stated mid-speech, look, I know I sometimes post or say strange things, but that's just how my brain works. Did he then note it was wrong to undermine the risks of COVID or voices ridicule about using pronouns? Oh, geez. Here we go. All right, you get the point. Comedian Dave is from the New York Post. Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan speculated that woke culture sparked the early backlash to Elon Musk hosting SNL. Chappelle sat for over 3 hours with Joe Rogan on Friday. Rogan speculated that people felt Musk was problematic because of his comments on COVID-19. No one is woke enough, Rogan said. They can't appreciate the fact that you're dealing with literally one of the most brilliant men that's ever lived that's going to come do your show, he went on. Chappelle, puffing on a cigarette for much of the interview, found the reaction to Musk puzzling and didn't know what sparked criticism of the pick. Again, like you say, no one can be woke enough, Chappelle said. I'm torn because I like a warrior for a good cause, but I'm really into tactics. You're not going to nag people into behaving in a way that's, in fact, if you continue with this tone, even if you're right, you'll be very hard to hear. The interview was recorded before Musk's appearance, this we understand. And that's about it. Just a comment from Joe and Dave. Actual funny people. All right, now let's think for a second. Joe Rogan, funny guy. Dave Chappelle, funny guy. SNL, not a funny show. So I started wondering, why is it that SNL is not funny? Well, maybe it's just that regular people don't know or care and require laugh tracks. Yeah, seriously, think about that. Maybe the culture war is not left versus right. Maybe it's people who need laugh tracks versus people who don't. Is that it? Is that how you define what an NPC is? This might be the easiest test. Turn on the Big Bang Theory in front of someone and see how they react. If they sit there and laugh, you got a problem. I don't know if y'all are Big Bang Theory fans, but sorry, I'm not going to apologize for my statements. I've watched that show. It's like, I'll put on Family Guy. Family Guy is dumb gag sketch humor. There's no laugh track, though. And so sometimes you laugh and sometimes you don't. It's topical. It's not the greatest show in the world. It's not the funniest show in the world, but, get a chuckle here and there, right? I like Family Guy. I like making references. They're cultural references. So Big Bang Theory comes on after it. And it's like some dude will walk in and be like, did you get the car washed? And you'll hear laughing. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, why are they laughing? He just asked me. And then there'll be a pause. And he'll be like, the heat death of the universe is in 13 trillion years. And you think I'm worried about washing my car? And then they'll all laugh again. And I'm like, what? I don't know when the heat death of the universe is supposed to be. But the point is that a joke? It's just a guy who said a thing that didn't make sense as a non sequitur. I guess some people find it funny. Or more importantly, it's like, you ever watch King of the Hill? There's an episode where Bobby is, he's going to do the morning announcements, and he makes jokes, and then nobody cares. So Peggy tells him to bang a cowbell so that people know when they're supposed to laugh, and they will. And I'm like, is that how people actually work in this? Yeah, it is. So then she joins him, and he says a joke, and then she bangs the cowbell, and then everyone laughs because they just want to be told when to laugh. Man, that kind of freaks me out. But that's probably what SNL is. Live studio audience. They say something that's not funny. Everybody laughs. And I'm like, would I be laughing if I was sitting there? I kind of don't think so. I've not been to many comedy shows. I went to one where Dave Rubin did stand up, and I laughed, and a lot of people did, and I didn't laugh at everything. I went to a Joe Rogan show, and I laughed a lot, not at everything, but I laughed a lot. I got to tell you, the time I laughed harder than I've ever laughed was Jonathan Pye and Andrew Doyle. That was just mind-blowingly hilarious. I was in pain. It was so funny. No joke. And Andrew Doyle, as you know, he runs Titanium McGrath, the faux woke Twitter account, the parody. It's hilarious. I was seriously in pain, like trying not to laugh. Those guys were incredible. I turned on SNL, and I'm just like, are these jokes? Are these seriously jokes? Check this out. Let me show you this. SNL recap. Elon Musk was the most cringy host of SNL. No. You know why that's wrong? Because watching Elon Musk dressed as Wario was funny enough for me. Okay, here's the guy who's trying to go to Mars, having a good time. Remember when Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan and he smoked a doobie or whatever you kids call it these days? That was also funny. It's funny because it's like he's a guy who's not normally in the situations, and you're watching him do silly things. It's not the joke is being on SNL. That was the joke itself. I'm entertained by that. It's not the funniest thing I've ever seen, but it's funny to see Elon Musk dressed like Wario. I can respect SNL for the absurdist humor. Like, we're going to get Elon Musk. We're going to dress him up like Wario. The skit itself was really dumb, but you know, the spectacle was worth watching and I was entertained. But it's just because it's Elon Musk. The jokes didn't work. The sketches didn't work. They weren't funny. There was no saving grace for this show. Apparently, a lot of people really like it still, I guess, whatever. They're like, people are saying Murder Dirter was really good. So there was this bit where it was like, in Pennsylvania, people talk like this. And it's a mystery show or a crime show or something. And it was called Murder Dirter. And I'm like, I guess if I knew people from Pennsylvania who talked like that, I might understand the reference. But for me, it was just people speaking gibberish. And I didn't know what the joke was. I was like, is that the joke? Is the joke the show? Some people laughed. And you know what? Here's what I'm saying. You're allowed to like things, okay? If you like the Big Bang Theory, you're allowed to like the Big Bang Theory. I just don't like the Big Bang Theory. You're allowed to like SNL. I didn't. So I guess the people who like the Big Bang Theory and SNL didn't like Elon Musk because he's not a comedian. Maybe that's it. Maybe they were expecting your typical, like, look, what is this one? They got one, the Uli show. Now, I want to tell you, I think it's the Gothamist. They have the greatest, the greatest point made. Actually, no, I don't think it was. Who wrote this one? There's a really good, maybe it's The Ringer. Here we go. This is it. TheRinger.com made one of the most intelligent points I have seen following the Elon Musk episode. Check this out. They say Saturday Night Live is at a post-Trump crossroads. In Elon Musk, SNL got another business tycoon to distract its viewers while it figures out what to do next. It's actually a really good assessment. They made fun of Joe Biden weekly. They call like very timidly, tepidly, and they called Donald Trump a white nationalist. And I'm like, I roll my eyes like, dude, shut up. It's not news. I don't care. In their weekend update, they're like, white nationalist starts publishing manifestos. And I was like, why would that be news at all for any reason? And then they're like, sorry, the actual headline is Donald Trump posts microblog. I don't care. Do people care, I guess? No, they're at a crossroads. Check this out. Quote, what is this? People really watch this show? Or the line came from Kate McKinnon. In character as Frances McDormand, the Oscar winner typically no nonsense in an appearance on a fictional Icelandic talk show. But it also summed up the sentiments of many viewers, some of whom tuned into Saturday Night Live for the first and perhaps only time to check out the comedic stylings of Elon Musk. They also mentioned for the first time they did a YouTube live stream. They found an episode that was predictably awkward and often bad, if not exceptionally so. Though you wouldn't know that if you weren't accustomed to watching live sketch comedy week after week. The Uli Show. What was the joke here? Making fun of Iceland? Are people familiar with what Iceland is? Did you guys watch this? Okay, for some reason, there were like 3 sketches bringing up banging your cousin, which was I was like, they gotta, what is SNL doing with this? Where they're doing like these cousin banging sketches. Because in Iceland, there actually is an app to make sure that the person you're dating isn't your cousin, because it's a small island nation with many volcanoes and a lot of it smells like farts. I mean that not disrespectfully. There's a lot of sulfuric activity. And so you drive around, you're like, smells like farts. They didn't even make the fart joke. Plus, Iceland has a penis museum. They didn't make a penis museum joke. Maybe they didn't. I missed it. I don't know. The show was just like strange foreign woman hosts show. That was it. Now, Elon Musk was funny in it because he was a weird guy in a costume. And the joke isn't the sketch. What I laughed at when I watched this was just seeing Elon Musk be silly. Honestly, if Elon Musk just put on strange costumes and did prop comedy, I'd probably enjoy that too because it's Elon Musk and it would only work probably one time. That's what they're trying to get out of this. But it is really interesting to see. I don't know. They're not jokes. What was I even talking about at this point? Anyway, they're going to say, the truth is that SNL is deeply flawed by design. When a TV show tasks itself with developing 90 minutes of new material in the space of 6 days, then performing it live while incorporating a new cast member, it's a miracle when anything good comes of it, let alone an entire episode. But as a CEO of Tesla and SpaceX and one of the richest men in the world and non-comedian, obsessed with comedy, Musk attracted a much larger audience than the masochists who watched in the faint hopes of catching papyrus or diner lobster in real time. I don't know what that is. That meant neophytes could see for themselves what's long been evident to regular viewers. SNL is at a crossroads and it has no idea where to go. And I'll tell you why. Or they mention it, actually. I mean, they say that the ratings are down across the board. Where do they go? They go on to mention there's a ratings collapse. Trump's reelection loss has led to a collapse in ratings for the cable news outlets, and that once thrived on the chaos. And while SNL remains the top-rated broadcaster, it's nonetheless slipped from its early seasons. Trump's episode may have been widely rebuked, but it also earned a lot of eyeballs. And while Musk is reviled by some critics for union busting, COVID-19 denialism, misleading investors, meme plagiarism, there's a lot of things to accuse him of. He's nowhere near Trump's level of disdain. While raw viewership is hardly in a death spiral, the flagging has also come with a creative sense of aimlessness. They're going to mention something really funny. Check this out. Say what you will about Snatched, Vaxxed, or Waxed, or Chloe Finneman as Britney Spears, but they are, at the very least, comedic concepts. It's a good point. I agree. They say, which is more than you could say for Matt Damon's Brett Kavanaugh yelling his way through a shot-for-shot remake of the Justice's confirmation hearing. In the most telling reversal of all, the show doesn't even have a cast member assigned to take over Biden from Jim Carrey. SNL is trying things again, which is good, but it hasn't hit on anything as reliable as the Trump show. That requires patience and entertainment, as a rule, is not a very patient industry. You know, I'll tell you, turn on CNN and they are grasping at straws. That's an understatement. They're grasping at the murky grime floating at the top of the pool. Not even, do you know what grasping at straws means? Like you're drowning, so you grab straws trying to stay afloat. They ain't gonna help you out. It's worse than that. It's just muck. They're like, I'm trying to grab anything and there's literally just slime. That's CNN. Trump is bad. Tucker Carlson's worse. Elon Musk, he should have apologized. Y'all got nothing left. You know, for me, I've always talked about politics and culture. So for someone who talks about politics and culture, who has always been fairly anti-establishment, or at least for the most part, since I started my media career back in, like 2011, I've always been anti-establishment, critical of massive corporations. And I've always been that way myself. I've always been, critical of big government intrusions and massive multinational corporations. And to varying degrees, my opinions have changed, of course. But for CNN, that once complained that Fox News was state-run media, now they're bringing on all of these former government actors and agents. It's like, you are exactly what you described. It doesn't work. SNL was playing the political game because it was pop culture. The problem is SNL is supposed to be the stupid Uli show. I don't know what the Uli show was supposed to be. I don't know who pitched it or why they thought it was funny. I come up with funnier concepts like on the toilet than SNL comes up with all of these highly paid comedians. There are a lot of comedians that you know and I know should be on SNL, and I have to wonder about it. Just think about any one of these up-and-coming stars. I'm not going to name anybody you see on Twitter, and you wonder why it is they aren't on SNL. Maybe they can't afford them. Or maybe it's kind of obvious. SNL doesn't know what to do because you've got woke outrage, cancel culture, and if they bring on someone who's actually edgy and funny, like Dave Chappelle, it's not going to be good for them. Now, they can bring on Dave Chappelle, of course, but I'm saying someone like him. Dave Chappelle can make these jokes and get away with it. Joe Rogan can make these jokes and get away with it. But heaven forbid you get a new up-and-coming comedian who will say something, the woke left will tear him apart, and SNL will bend the knee. Thus, SNL can't recover from this. Not like they ever could, I guess, but whatever. Elon Musk is funny because Elon Musk was being funny, and he's not normally a funny guy. It's fun to watch people do things they don't normally do. We launched a vlog, youtube.com/castcastle. Check it out. A lot of people like it because you're watching me and my friends do things we don't normally do. That's what it's all about, I guess. SNL, not good, but hey, I guess people who like it will keep watching it and it doesn't matter. So I'll leave it there. Props to Musk. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you all at 4 p.m. at youtube.com/Timcast.